Supervisory Board of Directors. You said in your statement that there are 2 seats still empty, and the Supervisory Board did not submit names or did not find candidates in a timely manner. Based on my research, the Supervisory Board submitted at least 5 names or to be selected by you or to be nominated by you, and only 1 person was appointed. Is it a fact that the Supervisory Board submitted more than 1 person to be nominated as members of the Supervisory Board? Question number 2 in the same.
Let me answer that first, if you don't mind. So I received on February 25th a list. So the way it works is per board position, 2 nominations are sent, of which I could choose one of the 2 nominations. Yeah? Some of the candidates that they submitted did not meet their own profiles that they've established themselves. I selected, so for 1 category, the feeling was neither of the submitted applicants complied with their specifications. For the other 2 seats, 2 nominations were sent, of which one is Ms. Shireen Daniels, who has only recently actually taken up her seat. For the other, there was a nomination that was sent, but in the end, she had a problem with her employer, who did not agree with her accepting the position. So this was notified to, I nominated 2 out of the 3. 1 passed the screening and has taken her seat just recently. The other was prohibited by her employer to actually take up the position. And this was in April, this was sent to them. So May 9th, notified that the legal nominees that they sent didn't qualify or weren't accepted. And since then, I've received no other nominations for those seats.
I'm going to go to a second question, but I'm coming back on that question in my second round.
Mm-hmm.
The director, you spoke of the director.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a performance contract in place for the director? And when was the Landsbesluit signed off, retroactive to 2014 for the current director? That the Supervisory Board, that I understand, informed you that was not legal, but by the way, went along and have him screened for the position. So my question to you in relation to the director in position at SZV, do you have a performance contract for him in place? And if so, when was it signed? And when was his Landsbesluiten signed retroactive to 2014?
So his performance contract, there is a draft of it. We're in negotiations with that, in discussions. That has not been signed as of yet, but is ready to imminently be signed. And this is something that has never been in place. So this is the first time that the performance agreement would be put into place. So the draft has been discussed, and I think it's almost ready to sign. Regarding the Landsbesluit, I don't remember exactly the date, but it was within the past few weeks that it was signed. I don't know the exact date off. I don't have the document here with me. And regarding, I'm not sure why you're saying they were against it. I have a letter here. This is from Michel Petit, chairman of the board, on March 22nd, requesting to formalize the appointment of the director via national decree and to have the screening executed. They're the ones who signed the letter requesting the screening. So how they say they were against it when they signed the letter requesting the screening, I have no idea what he's talking about, what you're referring to.
I'll explain that to you in my second round, but my third question in this round, do you have a purchase agreement with SZV and the government of St. Martin for the government building in place, knowing that SZV has already started using pension funds to invest in getting the building ready for government? Is there a purchase agreement in place?
In reality, that's something that the Minister of Finance can answer, because that agreement would be executed not by myself, but through the Ministry of Finance, right? That agreement is something that you are working on. So I think the Minister of Finance...
There is an agreement signed between SFB and the government, based on which the activities are taking place.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guilders really easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
Life is a journey full of connections. You're in safe hands, even when life starts too soon. You don't have to miss a single beat. When a bad hair day makes you sad, just sharing can bring you joy and more to come. They take the plunge, turn fear into faith, while you capture those beautiful moments. In the game of life, it's family that counts. They'll be there even when you lose. We all have our moments of reflection and hope. And when you feel you're losing everything in life, we're there, because there's more to come. When life starts too soon, you don't have to miss a single beat. We're here to connect you and share life. Telcel, when you want more.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Is addressing the need for information exchange internationally. Information exchange internationally, where more and more we see that countries that we have treaties with require information from us and we from them to be able to properly and accurately establish the basis on which someone has to be taxed. This opens the door to also make that possible in future. Finally, I would also like to make a comment based on news that I read or hear from time to time, where there are proponents out there saying, yes, let's move to a flat tax. Or, no, let's get away with all profit taxes and all income taxes and only have indirect taxes. Well, little do they realize that if you move to a flat tax, in fact, what you're doing is giving a tax break to the rich. And if you remove all income tax and profit taxes and only go to indirect taxes, again, all you're doing is reducing taxes for the rich. Because those who are less fortunate, if they go and buy a chair, if we're talking about indirect taxes, that those indirect taxes would be included in the price of the chair. And if someone who's rich go and buy that same chair, the same taxes, indirect taxes, is included in that chair for that less fortunate person, the rich person is paying the same amount. Indirect taxes and flat taxes are totally unacceptable for the masses of our country, because it puts a tax burden on them that's not fair. Our tax system is based on a progressive basis. The progressive basis is the more you earn, the more you pay. And that has to be maintained. Suggesting that everybody pay the same only benefits those who make more. And the same burden on them is the same burden that you will have on the less fortunate. So flat taxes and indirect taxes is a big no-no. I'm totally against it. I think it's unfair to those who are less fortunate, and that will not happen on my watch. Taxes, we have to maintain the system, has to be progressive. If we look at, for instance, electricity rates and water rates, the same progressive idea is applied to those rates. The more you spend in water or buy in water, the more and the higher rate you pay. And the higher rate you pay help to subsidize the cost of water for the less fortunate. That progressive idea has to remain in the tax system. We are working on tax reform. Tax reform has to be done carefully, has to be studied seriously, and has to have an effect that does not burden one group over the other in a manner that is unfair. It has to be a combination of factors. Some say, well, let's get away of all of the taxes and only charge sales taxes. Or some say, well, the other islands around us, they don't have income tax and they don't have profit tax. So let's do like them and charge a sales tax. Like in St. Kitts, they charge 70%, 17% on everything you buy. What is being forgotten is that besides that sales tax, those islands without income tax and profit taxes receive their revenues to carry out the obligations that they have from import duties. So anyone who says they want to get rid of direct taxes and only go to indirect taxes, in fact saying, okay, let's do like the other islands and start import duties too, because without it, you will not generate sufficient revenues. The tax system we need to go to has to be a combination of all three factors, and that's what we're working on.
Bob, I can understand why you're parking so carefully. Of course, when you can get 80% discount on your Be Sure car insurance. But that's overdoing it, Bob.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Yeah! Oh my, what an inventory list, and so unnecessary. But wait, your home contents are all insured by Be Sure. That means that you determine the amount you want to insure. No inventory list, no hassle.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
These are the doors that never close. These are the hands that make a difference. These are the walls that could tell countless stories of helping and healing, of storms weathered, of change and growth, of a place where life begins, where hearts are mended, and where hope grows stronger. For more than a quarter of a century, the physicians, medical professionals, and staff of St. Martin Medical Center have combined advanced medical technology and compassionate care to bring a world of medicine to our friends, neighbors, and visitors to the island of St. Martin we all call home. As proud as we are of what we have accomplished, we believe there is still much work to do to continue a proud tradition of providing everyone in our community with the latest technology, the best medicine, and the most exceptional care. St. Martin Medical Center, celebrating 25 years of serving, caring, healing.
A new legislation was filed by myself, or by the Ministry of Finance, that's aimed towards compliance. You know, compliance is a major problem as far as St. Martin is concerned. So the legislation which we have submitted was to create a basis going forward to improve compliance. Improve compliance in terms of giving certain authorities to the tax inspectorate, laying the foundation to demand that certain businesses, which will be determined in a ministerial regulation after this law amendment has been passed, to require businesses to install cash registers so that accurately we can get a reflection as to what their sales are and to minimize cheating and to improve tax compliance. The law also creates the basis for electronic communication between the tax department and the taxpayer. More and more we're moving towards an electronic world, a digital world, and it would assist compliance also if the tax department and the taxpayer could communicate directly via or digitally or via the internet, filing of their taxes instead of using paper and filling that in and then taking it to them or mailing it to them, that you can do that in whatever environment you're in electronically. and that you can get responses on it electronically. The idea is to shorten the time that these activities take place by, instead of going to the tax department or sending it out by mail or by marshal, that all of this be done electronically. It's also good for the environment because you will not be using paper and probably will have more trees in the world eventually.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
One,
2,
3,
4. This is how common it is to develop a mental illness. 1 out of every 4.
4,
4.
4. But there is hope. Today, most mental illnesses can be managed and treated. Visit your general doctor if you feel concerned about your thoughts and behaviors or have some difficulty dealing with some of life's issues.
If you have been diagnosed and are suffering from a mental illness, keep in mind these 4 points to help you manage your mental health.
1. Get regular checkups with your general doctor.
2. Stay on your treatment plan to prevent relapses.
3. Find a strong support group in your family and friends.
And 4. Never be afraid to ask for help and look out for the warning signs of your illness.
Remember, you are not alone. We are as close as one.
2.
3.
4.
Learn about mental health illness by going to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
See, my whole issue is today.
Yes.
I'm wearing jeans.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm just gonna say a little something about myself. I auditioned for both singing and dancing during the auditions for Breakthrough. I got in with both, but I'm doing dancing. And I dance because music is my outlet. I like dancing because it brings me peace.
Nice.
And I like dancing for other people because as a dancer, there's a certain power that you feel when you're dancing because the way that you bring across a dance, it'll make somebody cry, it can make somebody laugh, it can make somebody happy. And as a dancer, you feel empowered when you're on stage.
I wanna be. I never felt completely free. No one's ever had all of me. Or made me feel so beautiful and sexy.
We are the comedians of the show. That's our competition over there, apparently, dancer. And I just want to point out, we did the auditions together, but he won't be making it to the final show, so that means y'all stuck with me. Gotta put up with me. And the problem with me is, I'm always hype, and I always talking. So I'm gonna keep talking even though I don't have any know what to say, and I always start to anyway. But the thing about it is,
okay, let me just explain why I'm not gonna be here since you're out of breath. I'm not gonna be here because basically parents don't tell me anything, so I'm apparently going away for the October break. And I thought breakthrough was in the middle of October, but I was wrong. And my mom told me we're leaving the 30th, and I was like, okay, so what am I going to do? So I told him, and he knew I was going away already.
You told me After the
I
audition.
told you.
After the audition, that's when you told me.
I told you before the audition. When we
If
were
you
sitting
told me before the
down.
audition,
When we
why
were
would you
sitting
go to the
down.
audition then? That don't make any
I
sense.
told you when we were sitting down in the sun when the sun was burning.
Why were we
our
in the
backs.
sun? You know I don't like being in the sun. I got light skin, dog. That's all I got left.
Listen, one thing about us, when we lighter skinned people get in the sun, we peel right after.
By the way, guys, we're gonna cover a lot of sensitive topics, so please don't get vexed at us.
Yeah.
That's just the way it's set up. And if we can't make you laugh, we can at least entertain.
Try to.
There you go.